What's up, everyone? The other day I was digging through some old boxes in the basement and found a cassette tape. It turned out to be a recording of me in the 90s, on Christmas Eve, watching my favorite scene from the first Jurassic Park movie. Well, yeah, okay, I lied. That was me last week. Anyway, I've always loved dioramas and thought, why not recreate that scene? So I got myself a 132 scale Jurassic Park edition Ford Explorer.
Several days later.
The car is super detailed with some great paintwork. But I wanted to take it a step further and replace the static lights with actual working ones. I started by disassembling it and checking if there was enough room to fit my LED lights. Once I confirmed it was possible, I drilled holes in the structure using a Dremel. By the way, the interior was originally black. I was just too excited about this project. I spray painted it off-white to match the real car and totally forgot to record it. I then took my LED lights, test fitted them, and once I was happy with the result, I hot glued them in place. I then drilled a hole in the base structure to pass the LED wires through, aiming to hide them as much as possible in the final build. Once that was done, I tested the circuit with a small battery. I wasn't happy with how much red light was showing through the trunk, so I cut a piece of plastic, shaped it into the right size, and glued it in place to block it out. Next, I put my safety glasses back on and started working on the front lights. I carefully disassembled the bumper, then drilled bigger holes in the metal frame to make the lights brighter. After that, I glued them into place and drilled a second hole in the plastic base to test fit everything together. And finally, I tested the circuit one last time before moving on to the next step, the base. For the base, I found this wooden frame and drilled two holes. A larger one for the battery and a smaller one for the power switch. Of course, you always need to test the power switch before installing it. Yeah, this one works perfectly.
That's not funny. That was great.
Thanks, Tim. I glued the battery holder face down so I could easily replace the battery if needed. Next, I cut 3 pieces of foam to the right size, making sure the bottom piece left enough space for the wires. I used the same foam to shape the wall along the side of the road. I then test fitted the car and the curb, which would help guide the car along the road. At this point, I shaped the base by trimming some foam in certain areas, making poles, and even melted the foam with a hot gun to smooth it out. I also drilled the hole that would later connect the car to the battery. Finally, I covered the foam wall with a mix of plaster and polyfibers to give it a more solid and realistic texture. Oh, and I also destroyed a section of the wall, just like where the T-Rex broke through during the escape scene. For the ground, I mixed fine soil with PVA glue and diluted it with a bit of water. I mixed it thoroughly and applied it across the entire base. As you can see, I took my time to make sure it didn't cover the central curb and the hole for the wires.
Must go faster.
Alright Jan, let's get even faster then. I then sculpted some T-Rex footprints in the muddy patches.
That is one big pile of shit.
Well yeah, mud, not shit, but you're not wrong. Next, I rolled the car through the fresh mud and applied some of it on the car as well. Once the plaster was dried, I applied a dark grey wash to the plaster, then dry brushed some light grey to bring out the details. And with that, I moved on to the next part, building the fences. For the fences, I cut 4 pieces of wood, painted them silver and drilled some holes for the cables. I then cut some fine wires to replicate the electric cables, making sure to twist the ends so they wouldn't move when installed. At that point, it looked way too clean, so I applied a layer of rust and messed up with the cable, as if a T-Rex just escaped. Clever girl. I might even test if they are still electrified.
Push it.
Oops, they definitely are. Once the base was dry, I applied Mod Podge to protect it and give it a shiny finish, so it really looked like heavy rain had just poured. I applied a few more layers to the poles to simulate muddy water. I also took the opportunity to add some tiny details at the base of the wall, just like little plants that might have started growing there. So far so good, it definitely looks like a muddy terrain. Life finds a way, right? And now that I'm happy with how the base is coming together, it's time to tackle the wiring, connecting the LED lights to the battery and bringing the diorama to life.
Hold on to your butts.
I started by gluing the electric wires to the base and soldering them together. Now that they are very well hidden and secured, I pass them through the hole in the muddy base and solder the wires to the battery. I know, it's not a perfect job, but it's good enough for me. And now that it's done, it's time for the reveal.
There it is.
You did it. You crazy son of a... You did it.
Thanks for watching everyone, I had a blast recreating this scene. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. Till next time!